Hey, I'm Charles Barkley. Welcome to my ESPN special, and I'm here to interview Kevin Durant. So, welcome Kevin Durant. Woo! Yeah. I can see you have your backpack as usual, eh? Okay, so ESPN told me to call you the biggest, youngest rising superstar right now. How do you feel about that?
You know, I wouldn't go along the lines about boasting about myself because
I wouldn't either because I had my own MVP somewhere in 1980s. But let's not go there, okay? So how are you today?
I'm pretty good. How are you, man?
I'm fine. I see you have your bag with you as usual, like I said before.
Yeah, man, I can't go anywhere without that.
Yeah, well, okay. So but before we could ask you on any further questions, let's take a look at some highlights. Let's start on Roy.
Yeah, man, let's do it up.
Seattle Supersonics select Kevin Durant from the University of Texas.
Watch me as I dance under the spotlight. Listen to the people screaming out more and more. Cause I create the feeling that keep them coming back. Yeah, I create the feeling that keep them coming back. So captivating when I get it on the floor. Know you're patiently waiting. I know you need me. I can feel it. I'm a beast. I'm an animal. I'm that monster in the mirror. The headliner, finisher. I'm the closer, winner. Best when under pressure with seconds left. I show up. If you really want more, scream it out louder. Keep it on the floor. Bring out the fire and light it up. Take it higher. Gonna push it to the limit. Give it more.
Kevin Durant of the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Scream it out louder. Keep it on the floor. Bring out the fire.
So whatever, I play, I want to win. And whether it's Monopoly or whether it's basketball.
Wow, those really bring back memories. All those great plays. Really puts a smile on my face.
Those are some great highlights. So when you see yourself doing you, what comes to mind?
I don't know. It makes me happy to think about, what I was able to achieve, transitioning from like college play to being as good as a player I am in the NBA, winning those awards, those games, watch me score. Really, really great.
So you've done all of that, plus you've become like the youngest scoring champion ever. So what can you say about that?
I mean, any player would love to be a scoring champion. Like even an accomplishment like me, the youngest scoring champion. But it's whether I win or not. Like I want to help my team be as good as they possibly can. If I can help my team by scoring 30.1 points per game or 0.1 points per game, that'll make me happy.
You know what? That kind of has me getting mad because your credentials are actually a lot better than mine, and what you've also been like the youngest. So that's actually pretty mature of you.
Oh, thank you, Charles.
Yeah. So ESPN's their next question that they want me to tell you is what is your best game in your opinion?
Oh man, that's a really hard question. My best game. I've had a lot of good games personally and individually. Like even aside with my team getting a triple double, getting a lot of boards, a lot of assists. But my best game would have to be this year in February. I don't remember the exact date, but I was playing Denver.
Oh, my notes here tell me it was the 19th.
19th.
Yeah,
Oh, thanks.
19th.
Playing Denver, and I had my career high that game, 51 points.
Wow.
Yeah, it's actually you think it'd be hard scoring 51 points, but like a lot of players they just feel it. I just felt it that night.
Oh, it's time for commercial break, so we'll be right back with Kevin Durant.
Don't smoke. Smoking kills.
A concerned children's advertisement. And we're back, right, Charles?
I guess so. So we've talked about your best game. So what has been your best accomplishment so far?
My greatest accomplishment, it's not individual accomplishment, it's more as a team accomplishment. Last year, you obviously remember the playoffs. I know you watched playoffs. We made it to the conference finals. We played Dallas. We played hard. Like
I remember that game. You rocked it that game.
I know it was one of the last games we played. I had that crazy dunk on Brendan Hagelin. But the biggest accomplishment would be making it as far as I did. Even though we didn't end up winning that series and going to the finals, it was a good experience because we've never made it as far as we did. So I'm really glad that I had that accomplishment that year. But losing was a bad feeling, but I know I'll get them this year. The season's young and playoffs are just around the corner.
Well, you know what they say, like any season that you don't win championships is just a building year, right?
There you go, exactly. Yeah. And I thought that exactly, and this is why we've moved up in our conference.
Yeah. We both know that you've been in the league for only like 3-4 years. You're pretty young, right?
Yeah.
And like 3 or 4 years getting in, you've got a lot of accomplishments. Scoring record, MVP for the FIBA, right? So with all those like accomplishments like behind you, do you have any more? Because we know you have years ahead.
Well, my biggest accomplishment in the NBA, well, every NBA player from the bench warmers to the superstars in the NBA, they want to win. They want to win a championship. They want to win numerous championships, and that's the biggest thing I want to accomplish in the NBA. I want to get as many or even more rings than Michael Jordan. That's what I hope to accomplish in the NBA.
Okay. So, well, I wish you the best. So, what do you think is the biggest barrier you've had to overcome so far? So, my last question.
Biggest barrier, right? You can say a lot of things about barriers. You could say a player doesn't score. You could say a player doesn't have defense. You could say that player on a team, is not on a good team. But the biggest barrier I had, well, I have a couple. First one is transitioning from college basketball to NBA basketball. They're two completely different levels. The first level is college basketball. I would say I was pretty good. Being the first freshman to ever win college basketball player of the year.
Not to toot your own horn or anything, right?
No, of course not. Of course not. But and then coming to the NBA, wow, it was different. Even everyone says I score pretty easily, but scoring in the NBA is hard. You're versing different players, different defenses. Every night you're versing a different kind of defense from a team. So that was a pretty big barrier because in terms of the skill level. And my second barrier, I really don't like talking about the second barrier.
Oh, come on, tell us.
I know you remember the 2008-2009 series with OKC. You remember when we had a really low record? We were 23 and 59 that year. We had Russell Westbrook just getting drafted. I was a really big up and coming star. So I think that was my biggest barrier, turning the team around, getting players to get more involved, building up to that season where we are right now, as a second place in the Western Conference, have a bright future ahead of us. That's a good feeling. Knowing we can have a building block. That's a good feeling. Charles, I'm really enjoying myself on your show. I feel like I can open myself up and tell you anything. My goals, my accomplishments. Thank you for having me on your show.
Yeah, well, it was nice having you. Okay, so that's ESPN telling me that it's time for the show to end. But before you go, is there anything else that you want to say to our audience?
You know what? I really wish I could stay longer. Actually, I can't stay longer. I can come back tomorrow because I don't practice or game. If you guys want me, though. Yeah,
actually, no problem. We'll book you a spot because it's Kevin Durant. He's kind of a big deal. Speaking of that, well, it's time for him to go. So if anyone in the studio audience wants to buy a Kevin Durant shirt, go ahead.
Or a Charles Barkley shirt.
Of course, a Charles Barkley shirt. Back when I looked like a twig, right? So
okay, let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Okay, so see you, man.
All right.
It's nice having you. Right? Okay. That's a wrap. Why don't you get me someone give Charles Barkley a water? I need one. This guy thinks he's better than me.
Yeah. All I do is win, no matter what. Got money on my mind, I can never get enough. And every time I step up in the building, everybody hands go up. And they stay there.